Hello friends, I am Dr. Lokesh Jasrai. In the previous videos we have discussed how to analyze measurement model, and now in this video we are going to discuss what are the main criteria and the steps to examine a structural model in Pls-Sem. So we will discuss the main criteria, its purpose and key threshold or guidelines to measure that criteria. So the first criteria is bootstrapping with subsample. It is used for hypothesis testing, and resampling is done by creating subsamples as no assumption of normal distribution has considered while applying Pls-Sem, and the bootstrapping is generally done with 5000 subsamples. The second criteria is to execute inner model collinearity statistics by applying inner VIF, variance inflation factor. Now its purpose is to examine multicollinearity among predictor constructs associated to all endogenous constructs in the Sem, and its guideline is VIF should be greater than 5, and we are required to also check the confidence interval values for 2.5% to 97.5%. Now the third criteria is hypothesis testing by considering path coefficient beta, t statistics and p values at 95% confidence interval. Now its purpose is to measure the strength and direction of relationship between the constructs and used to test the hypothesis for direct and indirect paths in the model. Now we'll consider the significant p-values from bootstrapping and testing p-values at 5% or 1% level of significance. The next criteria is to execute coefficient of determination by R square used for the model explanatory power, or to explain or to measure the model explanatory power. Now, its purpose is to measure the proportion of variance in endogenous construct explained by its predictors. Now, if we are having three threshold values are there. If it comes 0.75, then a model is substantial. If it is 0.50, then we consider the model as a moderate, and if it is 0.25, then we'll consider as a model as a weak. Now the next criteria is to execute the effect size f square. Its purpose is to examine the impact of an exogenous constructs on an endogenous constructs in Sem model. And the threshold is, if it comes 0.02, we'll consider it as a small effect. If it is 0.05, 0.15, we consider it's the medium effect. And if it is 0.35 or large, we'll consider as a large effect. The next criteria is predictive relevance by considering Q square. It measures the predictive accuracy of the Sem model by using the blindfolding method. And the Q square should be greater than 0, indicates the predictive relevance. Now, there's a difference between the explanatory power and the predictive relevance. In the explanatory power, or the R square, we just consider that how much our sample is fit with that particular model, or how much our model is fit by considering the original sample. But the predictive relevance is that if we use this model for any of the sample, then how much our model is good enough to measure that particular sample. So that is why the predictive relevance is also required to execute once you are executing Pls-Sem. Now next criteria is goodness of fit. It is also called, it is to be measured by SRMR values, standardized root mean square residual, and its checks overall model fit. And the value should be greater than 0.08, then it is considered as a good fit. And the next criteria is to execute importance performance map analysis, IPMA. It is a graphical illustration to examine importance and performance of the constructs in the Sem model, and the values ranges from 0 to 1. So these are the few criteria and the steps which are required to examine the structural model in Pls-Sem, and all these criteria are to be mentioned while you are writing your research paper or assignments. So this is all about in this video. Thank you so much, and kindly subscribe the channel for next videos. Thank you so much.